It was yesterday. Like it was yesterday.
You get it?
You got it.
Booty
Right? That's Sarah Pitt. Sarah Pitt. Yes. See your face.
Okay. I set it up so this won't close, but okay, great, it's working. But all right.
Don't blame yourself. I know, there you go. It's not right back there. There's not people in this crowd that I can't. How many things have we done?
But not like a calming, right?
Hey, good, how are you? What?
morning.
Good morning.
My name is Reverend Andrew Youth. Will you please join me in opening prayer? Father God, we come here today to share and celebrate the life of Joseph Lopez. I pray that all those here and streaming may be comforted in knowing they aren't alone. In your word, you tell us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. Joseph was an example of that love. Thank you, Lord, for giving us this time to share with each other. Amen. Amen. When Travis asked me to speak today, the first impression is it's not something you look forward to, but I'm so honored to do it, and still am. Today, as we come together to celebrate the life of Joseph Lopez, I just want to tell you this is surreal to me. I met Joseph one day as he was introduced as my new regional manager. And just to let you know, he told me I was the only other person beside his mother that could call him Joseph. And that was what I did. He stood there wearing his classic black and radiant smile. I had no idea the years ahead I would know him not just as a boss, but as a dear, sweet friend. We had in common our favorite color, orange, that many of you are proudly wearing right now. We both owned orange cars. I did in the past, he did recent. You always knew when he was coming, because you would look out for that orange car. We would have many conversations at work, and some were not work-related. We had so many off the record and on the record conversations, I forgot which one was on and which one was off. Joseph wanted to know who I was, what I cared about, and why I cared about. I got to witness him interact with many people and sincerely be curious about everyone. He was always engaging and enjoying. He was definitely a social butterfly, and you all can attest to that. His signature smile would light up the room, and he knew how to use it as a weapon. We know. I have so many experiences and memories, I can't even get them all down on a piece of paper. Or even just come to realize what's my favorite one. I was blessed when his office was moved to my store. I had managers calling me saying, what a perfect match that my store was picked. I think maybe it was they were relieved that it wasn't their store. But I gotta say, I'm so glad it was mine. Don't get me wrong, he would reprimand me many times, and those days I didn't like him much. I would send him to his office. However, he pushed me to grow, and that is what great leaders do. He inspired me never to give up and to always have courage. Now, Joseph could be sassy in his ways and deliver a one-liner that either stopped you in your tracks with your jaw dropped, or you really just started laughing. And then he would cut his eyes just so and leave you standing there. I would tease him and call him Miranda Priestley. Because he loved Devil's Wear Prada. And we got to hear it all the time. You know what I mean? He loved that movie, Miranda, so his name became Joseph and Miranda many times. He would say to me, by all means, move at a glacier pace, you know how it thrills me. And he did it just like Miranda. While I'm whipping around like a crazy woman trying to get all his directions done, because we all know that work with him, it was like, dude, boom, 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 get this, do that. I'm like, I can't breathe, man, I can't breathe. He would even call me when he was working for the vitamin shop. Our phone calls never ended. And he would be driving to Louisville, asking me for directions. I would remind him that I haven't lived there over 20 plus years. And he would say, and? You should know where it is. And in his Miranda voice, he would say, I would come back after his Miranda voice, and I would say, hello, MapQuest. I wasn't scared being sassy back. And he would say, that's right, that's why I called you. I don't even think you really live from Kentucky. I don't think you were born there. We had those conversations. You can't even help me find a street. I just had to laugh at him. And oh my, I would beg him, please do not try to speak in a southern drawl. Because you make my ears bleed. Stay with your New York accent, please. And I would just be like, I got it covered there, all right? But his favorite line, and I would have to admit, was mine too, was when he would look at me and just as sassy as could be and say, that's all. So I close by saying to my mentor, my encourager, the one who I shared many ups and downs, the one I shared sarcastic humor with, the one I shared my heart with, the one I can call my sweet friend. I love you, Joseph. That's all.
Oops. Thank you all. You have a very big voice. So, So today is the day that I've really been dreading. Since he passed. It's almost like I could trick myself into thinking he was on a work trip. But this kind of makes it real. But before I get too far, before I forget,
And I want to say thanks to a couple of people that really made this a lot less painful to put together. So our friend Carlos Marquez made the beautiful floral arrangements. The calla lilies were Joe's favorites. And Carlos also made the arrangements for our wedding, and everybody really loved them. And so I wanted to say thank you to Carlos. At our wedding, I got all wrapped up into it. I realized I didn't say thank you then, so thank you, Carlos. And by the way, Carlos used to beat me all the time at tennis. But even after that, he's a joy off the court. We love him to death. Also, this week I was really stressed out because some things with the audiovisual were falling apart, and Dan mentioned Marcio Santos. And so Marcio, I called him up, and he, like, at the drop of a dime, was like, I'm there, count me in. And he set all the audiovisual up to kind of really take the pressure off because I was really freaking out. So thank you, Marcio. I appreciate it very much. Also, there's, when this happened, this is probably more accurate. When this happened in January, Ileana and I are forever tied to that moment. Because she was there with him on the phone. And so Ileana and I have been really tied through this whole experience. So thank you for helping me get through many tough times. But I also want to thank my family and my friends that helped me do many of the different tasks that I've had to do. It's not been easy. Joe, I realized how easy he made my life. There's a lot of things I didn't have to worry about. Like, for instance, in the morning, making coffee. I could sleep in. But little did he know, his banging around in the kitchen always woke me up anyway, so. But he made life easy for me in many ways, and that's just one of them. But the past 3 months have been like the absolute worst. Each day has really been filled with like the question of like, why even get out of bed? Like, there is nothing at the end of the day. He would always leave for work before me, and then I would work, and then he would come home. That doesn't happen anymore. At 6 o'clock, he would come home, and then we would go and play tennis, and then come home and eat really late, and then watch TV and go to bed. But it was a life that I loved. I loved every minute of it. But now I know that my baby Cakes isn't coming home anymore. And I want to say thank you to each of you who reached out to me via text and messenger and phone calls and email. Some people I didn't even know that he knew from Pier 1 had reached out to me and sent me some amazing things. And it just shows me how much he touched other people's lives, not just my own. And he was important to others. And everybody's reaching out to me and trying to comfort me. But also at the same time, I know that everybody else is kind of hurting because he had these deep relationships with so many people. So profound that there's a huge hole for so many of us. That I know that there are so many more people other than me that are grieving, that need some support. And one of the things I've learned in the last 3 months is that there is no rule to grieving. There is no getting over it. There is no get on with it. There's no moving on. There's nothing like that. It's just you move forward. And it's not easy. It's not easy to move forward. But that's what we all have to do, and we laugh because those of us that know him really well know that he wouldn't, people say all the time, don't cry because he wouldn't want you to cry, but we know he would want you to cry. And if you weren't crying hard enough, he would come and tap you on the shoulder and ask you why. But having to publicly say goodbye to the one you love is not easy. And it really does put some finality to it. And people talk about closure. I didn't really think this was going to be much of a closure, and maybe it won't be, but it kind of feels a little bit like it was important. But I thought we were going to be together for a great number of years. He was 52, and she's too early. It's too early. And I'm not 50 yet, Rich. So it's still young for me too, but it's too early. I thought we had another 30 or 40 years. But I think that Joe knew the day before he passed, or the day before he had his aneurysm, I should say. We were having a conversation and he said to me, well, I don't know if I'm going to be around for 20 years. And little did I know how true that comment became. And that was just the day before. So I think that he always kind of knew that he wasn't going to be around for a long time. So I feel like that's why he shared so much of himself with us. And that he was so spontaneous, and he was so funny. And he was so involved in our lives. He wanted to know about us. He wanted to know what's happening with us. He wanted to know what's happening with our family. And it was because I think he was trying to do as much as he could in the time that he had, because I think he just knew he didn't have a lot of time. But his spontaneity was like literally, I'm not lying to you when I say we traveled probably twice a month every year for 12 years. He loved to travel, he loved to go places, but he would say, on Sunday morning, we would wake up and have coffee, and he would say, hey, let's drive 2.5 hours, 2 hours to Louisville to go look at open houses. And we live in Cincinnati, why would we do that? But that's just the way he was. When he got a thought in his head, he wanted to do it, and nothing was going to stop him. So we would drive that 2 hours to Louisville, and we would go and look at 2 open houses. And he would say that he didn't like the area, and we were driving back. But that's the way he was. There wasn't a lot of, he didn't care about the logicalness of it all. What he cared about was the adventure of it. And I was always a practical one. And there are many times when he would want to do something, and I would throw my practical part into it, and I would squash his dreams. I would say something about wow, that doesn't make sense. Why would we want to do that? And he didn't care whether it made sense. He just wanted to do it. And when we would go go on our trips, I was looking through photos, and over 12 years there are so many trips. So many trips. I have so many stories I could tell you, but many are probably funny just to him and I. And I was talking to Rich after Rich lost a close. It's strange because in that instant, it's true. It's true. Nobody's gonna know about the time that we stayed in Oliver Twist's apartment in Berlin, and he had cheap IKEA beds with cheap slats, and in the middle of the night, we would fall through the slats and hit the floor. And we would laugh about it because it was an adventure. It was a story to tell. But telling you that story, like, you laugh because it's funny, but you don't know, you don't feel it, you don't. I could share it with you, but you didn't live it with me. So that history is gone. So many different trips, vacations, 12 years of history, just gone. But what's important today is to remember what we can, and share with each other what we can, because that's the important part. You know, Joe is very generous. You know, there's that part of him as well. You know, he really believed in the Feed South Florida project, and he took his team there, and they had an event where they went and helped out Feed South Florida. And he really believed in 100 plus Dogs of the Everglades. That's where we got our Teddy. And where Rich and Brian got Buckley. In animal rescue and his dream, puppy daycare, because he wanted to have all that puppy breath around him. And one funny thing I'll tell you, it's kind of personal, but in his last will and testament, he made provisions for us to take care of the animals if something were to happen to him. And he left $5,000 for JoeLee's care. And Marty and Teddy, no mention of the cats, by the way. Because they didn't matter. But Teddy and Marty were only given $3,000. So he did have his favorites. I don't know if you all saw the picture reel, but pictures are mostly with him and JoeLee, and he loved his mornings when he could cuddle with her. But that just tells you how much he loved his animals, and they were our babies. And I know that he would be devastated. He's God. But he would be happy that my sister Tara has taken really good care of them. Right. So, in the vein of his generosity, I wanted to let you guys know a couple of things. So, I made the decision, and I know that he would agree, to donate his organs. And they told us how rare it really is, and I didn't realize how rare it was until they told us that in the entire northern Kentucky, southern Ohio area, that all of 2020, the entire year, they were only able to harvest and give gifts for 75 individuals. And Joseph was able to do that. So he loved being elite. This is what I think that he would rather not have had to do. But in that, he was able to save 3 people's lives. he was able to through the gift of his liver, he saved a gymnastics coach from the Midwest who waited more than a year for a call that changed his life. His kidney helped save a man who experienced diabetic kidney failure and was on dialysis for a year and a half. He had one child and 2 grandchildren. His lungs saved the life of a retired married woman from the Midwest with 1 child. And I know in my heart that he would be so proud of that. He would be so proud of that he was able to help others. So, there's so much that I could say, honestly. I wrote like so much more here. And as I started going through it, I'm like, how do you put 12 years into a few moments? And you can't really, right? How do you acknowledge everybody that you came across in your life, that he had some kind of an impact with, that there was some kind of a great story, and you can't? There's just everybody. And I started writing stories trying to encapsulate everybody, and it became a book. So if I don't individually acknowledge everybody, just know that you were important to him, that his contacts with others were what really kept him going. Honestly. He hated this COVID pandemic because he couldn't visit with people. He couldn't, hey Jay, he couldn't visit with people. He couldn't talk to people. He couldn't play Loteria. And when we lived in Manistee, he couldn't go downtown and talk to all the shop owners. On the first day of moving there, I had to work. So he was like, I'm not going to sit here. And so he went downtown and he came back and he met every single shop owner downtown. And he said that the owner of the Happy Owl bookstore was his new best friend. And being from New York, he would always tell me when we went to New York, don't look people in the eye, don't look at them. But when he comes to the Midwest, like, he talked to everybody. And I think that just shows the kind of person he is. You know, he's outgoing, he's got the most amazing smile, he's so friendly, he's so funny, he's engaging. He's everything that you want a person. And he's everything that you guys want in a friend and a family member. So I know that this loss is hard for all of us. So I'm going to end there. And I just want to say to Joe, this is really hard, babes. But the kids and I will get through it. And I know you want me to be happy, but honestly, I don't know how I'll ever love again. I just don't. Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. I appreciate it. Enjoy the pictures. Good morning. My name is Paulo, and Joe is my uncle. Sorry. Thank you, Travis, for letting me be the one to do this. I'm gonna read a poem today by Maya Angelou, and it's called "When Great Trees Fall." When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills and shudder. Lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence. Their senses erode beyond fear. When great trees, when great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. We breathe briefly, our eyes briefly see with beautiful clarity. Our memory, suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words, unsaid, promised, walks, never taken. Sorry. Great souls die, and our reality bond to them takes leave of us. Our souls dependent upon their nurture now shrink, wizened. Our minds formed and informed by their radiance fall away. We are not as much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. And when great souls die, a period peace blooms, slowly and always, irregularly. Spaces till with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses restored, never to be the same, whispered to us. They existed. They existed. They can be and be better, for they existed. I love you, Joe. Thank you for always making me laugh. And just, always having kind words. And that's all.
Welcome, friends, and thank you for coming. My name is Dan Reagan, for those of you who don't know me. We gather today to honor, respect, and remember the life of Joe Lopez. Husband, brother, uncle, friend to so many. And one of my closest and best friends. Before I begin, let me just say, Joe wouldn't want us to be a sad day in our lives. We all know he would. I'm jealous. So for Joe and all of us here, shift your thoughts from how much we miss him to a happy or funny shared moment that you had with Joe. So if only for a quick short moment, relive it, enjoy it, and smile. I met Joe in early 2007 through a mutual friend. Joe and I clicked right from the start. We had one huge thing in common. We both loved to play tennis. I invited Joe to join me in Friday Night Round Robin, where I had met some great people, and we both met great people who we remain friends to today. So I'm going to share one of my funny stories. Joe and I played tennis hundreds of times or more, and I can count on both hands how many times he opened up into cat balls. He always had his can of balls that he had just opened up the day before. It had only been used once. Right, Mikey? And my response was always, no, I have a new can. Once he asked me why I didn't want to play with his can of balls. I said, Joe, I know for a fact we didn't open that can. He says, how do you know? Because we played yesterday. And I opened it. He said, oh yeah. And he called me a bitch. And I bet that can is still in the bag. Joe and I had this friendship that I can't even begin to put into words. And I wonder if I'll ever have that again. Never a dull moment with Joe and I. We were always laughing at something or bickering about something. And that something was usually about Serena Williams. Joe, I honestly think, was Serena's #1 fan. And he made it known. As for me, I'm not a huge fan. At all. And if Joe was around, I usually make it known. Especially if he had just lost so much. Throughout all of our friendship, that was our goal. Some might find it silly, but that was part of our friendship. After the news of Joe was made public, the outpouring of support and the kind words for Joe and Travis just kept coming in. I was asked by our tennis league if I would come and say something about Joe to the tennis club. So that following Sunday, I went and told the members of our tennis club what had happened. The love and support from our tennis friends and family was amazing. So many people knew Joe. And what I found truly amazing is how many people mentioned his infectious smile. Yes, I knew he had an infectious smile. He was my best friend for 14 years. But I think that's one thing I took for granted. Joe was always smiling or laughing when we were together. But not only then, always. That's how so many people remember Joe, that amazing and infectious smile. When Travis asked me to do this eulogy for Joe, without hesitation, I said yes. Of course I will. And as I started to think about what I wanted to say, I realized I didn't know what to say in this eulogy. Let me rephrase that. I didn't know, out of all the great and amazing things Joe did in his life, and what a wonderful man he was, what to leave out. I could stand up here all day and night, recounting and sharing memories, telling stories of just how truly great and amazing Joe was. But we all know that, right? That's how we're here today. Joe touched my life like everyone attending here today, and countless more who are not able to be here. As I read the many posts on Facebook about Joe, I was amazed at how many people's lives he touched or had a small or huge impact. Every story was unique and special. I have thousands of stories and memories of my best friend that I will cherish the rest of my life. Joe. I would open up another 1,000 cans of chili sauce for just one more set of chili. I would love to go to just one more movie where we always sat next to each other. Or just go on one more vacation together, like we always talk about. Travel. Family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs. The ones who accept you for who you are. The ones who will do anything to see you smile and who love you no matter what. The day you met Joe, you became a part of my family. I'm so grateful. You filled that empty space in Joe's life like you wouldn't believe. You were his world, his joy, his everything. You don't need me to go on and on about how wonderful, talented, smart, witty, funny, friendly, compassionate, and loving Joe is. I did that for him. It was all that and so much more. You didn't need me to say that. Travis, you and I will play tennis again. We will go to another movie. And we would go on a vacation. Perhaps Berlin. Travis, you're a part of mine and Bob's family. Please know we are here for you anytime, day or night. The miles between us are just that, miles. We are just a phone call away, a short plane trip, or a long ass. But we will always be there. Thank you again, everyone, for coming out today.
First of all, I want to thank Travis for allowing us to be here to share. It's a celebration of Joe's life. And, you know, just sitting here listening to everything, I have so many things going through my head, so many nicknames, so many fun times, which I didn't write down, but I do want to say before I start talking that we had a holiday nickname for years, and Audrey was part of this. She was Turtle Dove, I was Frosty, and he was Comet. So when you see the stone that says Frosty and Comet, that was our holiday nickname for each other at Pier 1 for over 20 years. So I just had to say that before I got started. But good morning, my name is Cheryl Adams, and I'm a friend and colleague of Joe's. And today we are here to honor an amazing person who made such a positive impact on so many people's lives. He was a loving son, brother, husband, uncle, father of his furry doggies and kitties, a friend, boss, and mentor. I met Joe 15 years ago when he moved to South Florida to begin working at Pier 1 Imports as our regional manager for the fun Fort Lauderdale region. Joe had no idea what he was getting himself into. First of all, he arrived right in the middle of hurricane season, and we had our triple whammy of Francis, Jean, and Wilma. He had no idea what hurricane season was down here. I was at the Boca store, so I was one of the closest stores to his Delray office. And we became acquainted very quickly, bonding over no cell phones, not knowing any managers, stores were closed, what is hurricane prep, and the aftermath. We spent plenty of hours at my Boca store with no power, devising how we were going to communicate with fellow managers and stores. We found alternate ways to communicate, sticking notes on the back of doors, you know, trying to text. I didn't even know how to text. My daughter was 13 and had to teach me how to text. I think I had a little flip phone. And of course, there was a lot of hurricane snacks. welcome to Florida. So that leads me to the snack thing, because those of us that know the holidays, Joe loved visiting our stores. He didn't like to do unannounced visits because it was all about, you better have the snacks. Even though he was on this kind of diet, or he's watching this, but let me just try one. Oh, but I'm gonna take some home to Travis. I was known for making fudge, and I would make some for Travis and Joe every year. But I was told Travis never got any because Joe ate it all before he got home. Our Pier 1 team bonded quickly, and we created a family. Little did any of us know, but we were creating a lifelong friendship with Joe, who is such an inspiration to all of us, also known as J-Lo. Joe taught me the importance of family. He always stressed a work-life balance, and he also inspired me to travel. He loved to share his stories of his travels with Travis and his friends. One trip he insisted, I saw so many pictures, was his trip to Alaska, which I had planned to do last summer, but got canceled due to COVID. So that's still on my bucket list in honor of Joe. Today we're honoring his memories that are part of our memories. I feel like he is an angel among us. Like, I still hear his voice, his lighthearted laugh, and I can see that amazing smile. Joe will continue to inspire us through the things he said to us, he taught us, the love for travel, his favorite movies, the Bravo Housewives shows. He always said we should have a Boca Housewives show. And his Netflix series and songs. He loved to play catchphrase at our meetings and get-togethers. We have so many funny memories of all those gatherings. He was so generous, taking us on so many trips, King Tut, we did a river cruise, just endless fun things. But we always ended up playing catchphrase, and some of us were better than others. We were a tight-knit group, and as I quote from one of his all-time favorite movies, "Oh, don't be absurd. Everyone wants to be us." Of course, a line from The Devil Wears Prada. We will remember Joe for his love of family, friends, tennis, and his animals. But another thing he loved was helping others, as he did for so many of us in a time of need, as well as giving back to the community. I know of several instances where he would help a fellow Pier 1 associate or a manager or one of their kids in a time of need. He was there for me when my husband became terminally ill and had passed, and when I was alone. My daughter was still in college, and I had never been by myself since I was 18. He would invite me, a place to stay, a place at the table for a holiday. He always asked, "What are you doing? I'll come and get you." And then forget the hurricanes, that's where we first met. Whenever there was a storm, hey, you have a place to stay. I will never forget his kindness. In Joe's honor, we can all find a way now to give back to others, as he did for so many. Help a fellow friend or neighbor in need, volunteer at a shelter or at a food bank, rescue a pet, or find a local charity that you can help out in his name. Joe made a difference in our lives and in his community, and that's how we can honor his place. I love you, Joe. Frosty, Comet, peace out.
Love you, Joe.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Rizzo, and I worked with Joe for 14 years at Pier 1 Imports as one of his store managers. He was not only my mentor and boss, he was also my friend. My heart truly breaks for everyone who knew and loved him, especially his husband, Travis. Joe was an amazing person. He lit up the room with his smile. He was charming, fun, fair, giving, and inspiring. At work, Joe not only challenged us, but he taught us well. He was exceptional at his job. He made us better. Joe led us by example. He never asked any of us at work to do anything he wouldn't do himself. Truly, it was his fairness and his huge heart that made everyone that worked with him love and respect him so much. But it wasn't all about work. He made sure to always keep things in perspective. Every year, Joe would arrange for us as a team to participate in helping others at different organizations, such as Feeding South Florida and the Box Project. He was very passionate about giving back and helping others. Joe has helped and been there for all of us in his work family, especially when we needed it most. Whether it was offering his home to all of us during hurricanes, calling when he knew we needed the call, checking in on us when we were sick or had something going on in our lives, he was always a huge support. We had so much fun together during all the outings he would take us on. He took us to Peanut Island, the Flagler Museum, through nature trails at parks, picnics, the movies, the beach. We loved every minute of it. Joe would have us at his home for meetings, and we would sing karaoke together and play catchphrase, which he was super competitive. Oh my gosh, he wanted to be on his team. We just always had fun with him. Joe was so excited to marry the love of his life. We were all so excited to attend Joe and Travis's wedding. I'll never forget us taking our group photo at the wedding and Joe telling us how we were his family. Joe cared so much about all of us, and we were so happy to be there for him and Travis. I especially enjoyed our conversations about politics and loved how passionate he was. I loved our play-by-play text messages while we were watching the inauguration. I'm grateful that he was able to see the outcome of the election because it meant so much to him. Although I'm sure all of you would agree, Joe Lopez would have been an amazing president. Joe was so much to so many people. He made a lasting impression on me for sure. I learned so much from him. I will forever keep him in my heart and treasure all of the memories we share. I know Joe is here with us today, smiling all the love that is here. We love you, Joe, and we'll always be here for Travis.
He's like, what's happening?
When they know President Joe's passing by. Right now our country is gloomy, fear is in the air. But when Joe's president, hope is everywhere. Trouble's flowering.
Redo.
What does it say?
Then I. Very nice.
It seems like happiness is just a thing called Joe. He's got a smile that makes the lilacs wanna grow. He's got a way that makes the angels give a sigh when they know Preston Joe's passing by. Right now our country is gloomy, fear is in the air. But when Joe's president, hope is everywhere. Troubles flowing, life in easy flow. Joe will keep us safe, that's all we need to know. Seems like happiness is just a thing called Joe. I miss you. Sometimes there seems no end to misery and despair. But when Joe smiles at us, compassion fills the air. Troubles fly away, and life is easy flow. Joe will keep us safe, that's all we need to know. Seems like happiness is just a thing called Joe. Present Joe, Present Joe, Present Joe.
Hi, I'm Gabriella. Joe was also my uncle. And I'm going to be reading a poem. It's by an anonymous author. It's called Don't Cry for Me. Don't cry for me, now I have died. For I'm still here, I'm by your side. My body's gone, but my soul is here. Please don't shed another tear. I am still here, I'm all around. Only my body lies in the ground. I am the snowflake that kisses your nose. I am the frost that nips your toes. I am the sun bringing you light. I am the star shining so bright. I am the rain refreshing the earth. I am the laughter. I am the mirth. I am the bird up in the sky. I am the cloud that's drifting by. I am the thoughts inside your head. While I'm still here, I can't be dead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Andrew, Joe's nephew. It feels weird for me to call him Joe. I also know he wouldn't like that. I'm not quite sure where to begin. I'm sure we all never imagined we'd be sitting here today. As I look around the room, I see what my uncle was for me. He was just so many other people. He was one of my best friends. My mentor, he pushed me it wouldn't matter if I had spoken to him yesterday or in a few months. We would always pick up right back where we left off. He always pushed me to be a better version of myself, to see the world, to understand people different from me. My family says that my uncle and I are very similar in so many different ways. Thank you. Or in so many ways. Mainly the way we communicate. We both have a very direct way of communicating, to say that. So whenever somebody in my family would say, "Joseph, don't say that to me," I would think that was a good one. As I look around the room, I'm so proud of the person that he was, and what he was to me. And thank you all so much for being here. I miss him so much.
I'm Laura. I was Joe's best friend, one of his best friends, I'm coming to learn. But he always told me I was the most common person he'd ever met. And that wasn't always a compliment. I want to thank you guys for coming. This has been, surreal. But I chose to write a note to Joe because he told me he would never write me a letter. He would never send me a card. And so I got you. Joe, you were the brother I never knew I wanted. You even made me grow to like New Yorkers. Your passion for life and for travel influenced and inspired me beyond my own imagination. While we worked together for almost half of our lives for the same company, it was far more than that in which we formed our kinship. I knew you wanted to be friends when you invited me to travel on vacation with you and Travis to the Pacific Northwest. It was very quickly then when you learned to push my buttons. But I guess when I had to pee and I ducked under a viaduct, you recognized I was somebody who was always going to make you laugh. Everyone knows us, appreciates our disagreements, our banter, our storytelling, and how we love to push each other's buttons. And several of you guys know that I most affectionately refer to you as Jackass. And you loved it. There are not many people who want nor care to get a rise out of me, except you. Travis always tried to calm me down, and you just snickered and boasted your charming smile. I never knew how much those moments meant to me until they stopped. Oh. But let's talk about your uncanny ability to teach. You taught me about trees. You taught me about a diet that really worked this time. You taught me about fashion. He made me buy this hat in the Isle of Capri. He wouldn't buy it for me, he bought Nereda's, but he told me I needed to buy mine. And that was quintessential Joe. He taught me how to do a high ponytail, and he taught me how to save my money. But the most important lesson that you taught me, and I sometimes forget, was the story about your Aunt Tilly. Oh, and the Aunt Rose. Damn it, I don't remember either. You totally shaped my desire to wanderlust. And when you wanted to travel somewhere, you were the first one to research my flights and bother the shit out of me for weeks to book the damn flight. Oh, the adventures we had and the amazing memories we made. Kayaking the Salish Sea, watching kite surfers in the Columbia River Gorge, tipping over canoes in the Peace River, pitching tents, eating Spam for the first time, counting crosses in Rome, walking the streets of Pompeii, drinking limoncello until I didn't know my name, eating fried egg cheeseburgers in Sorrento, horseback riding in Patagonia, betting on horses at the Hippodrome in Buenos Aires, searching and swimming in cenotes in Merida, taking a helicopter to get to a glacier to walk on it, getting henna tattoos in Marrakesh, waking up at the damn crack of dawn because you wanted to just talk, hiking the Atlas Mountains in Morocco, eating fondue in Chamonix, exploring vegan cuisine in Traverse City, trying to climb the Sleeping Bear Dunes, dodging the biggest damn iguanas I'd ever seen at Uxmal, kayaking the Platte River, drinking yerba mate with the gauchos, and we think he really did get a buzz, or you get a buzz, shopping for shoes in every country we ever visited. And then the common thing is I took you to a drive-in movie when the first time you came to Birmingham. Do you remember being stranded in the Madrid airport during a historical snowstorm? Joe, do you remember me being accosted by the Cambio men on Florida Street in Buenos Aires? Scared the shit out of me. Attending the orchestra in Merida. And oh my God, let's not talk about those work breakout groups when we had work meetings. Watching Serena play live at the Italian Open. Being there for your engagement on the Amalfi Coast. Watching RuPaul's Drag Race from 13 hours apart. Me picking up men and inviting them back to the house in Italy. Playing Lotteria for the first time. Getting caught in customs because I always forgot I had apples in my backpack. Do you remember teaching me how to dance the Cupid Shuffle? Do you remember all the times we had to wait on you because you got stuck in customs because of your name? Do you remember all the times I sat on the sideline and watched you and Travis play tennis around the world? Joe, we even lost our jobs together on a conference call. lucky am I? I'm the luckiest girl in the world. You have brought me so much joy to my life and taught me what life is all about. I will never be able to recount all that we celebrated, all that we argued about, all that we ate, all that you wanted me to watch on television, all the car rides where I was always in the back seat. But I do know that when we connect again, we'll pick right back up and start new memories. Your passing has left an empty void in my heart, in my soul, but my spirit will forever be orange. Just knowing that you are my hero, my confidant, my biggest cheerleader, my counselor, and my friend. I have, I did, I will, I can, and I do love you with all my heart. You were my Fred, and I was your Wilma. Peace be with you, and peace be with you all as we go through the rest of our lives. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Didn't realize everybody was here. First, thank you, Travis, for letting me do this. When you asked, I was blown away. It meant the world to me. I first met Joe at that Friday night doubles round robin, right after he moved down here. It was because we joined pretty similarly at the same time. And as everybody has said, he just has a smile that just lit up everything. He was just charming. He was just wonderful. And we met Travis through the tennis league. I think Ed was playing you. And sure he beat you, because he always beat you. And I just remember we were at a tournament, and I remember the day they met. And Travis was like, "Who's that?" And he was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And Joe's face just lit up, and you just knew that it was going to be so perfect. And everybody's talking about Joe's smile today, and I'm going to tell you one thing. My favorite thing about him was his grimace, because we would play doubles with Ed and I, and I couldn't do a lot, but there was one shot I had that at least 4 times a match I would do. And it was a backhand passing shot right down the line because Joe cheated to the middle of the court. And watching him just get frustrated, it made me so happy. Because I knew I did something right. We never beat them in doubles because there was a lot I did wrong. But I had those 4 shots or so that I was able to get past. When Travis asked me to sing today, he's like, "Well, think of what song you want to do." And I went through a lot in my head. And Travis said, "Oh, here's one." I was like, "Oh God, that's bleak." And I just came across one came to mind. And it's from the show Eulogy, and it's ironic, not just funny that a song we're going to do is about a show about male strippers. But the song is sung at a funeral. And I remember watching it with my husband Ed, and we just grabbed each other's hands. And we saw that show 6 times on Broadway, I think. And eventually, when we got married, that was our weddings. And I knew that was the song I wanted to do for Travis today, just because it says everything to me, it says everything to my husband, and I think it's where you're going to be. I think you just need to know that. And one final thing before I really attempt to do this, I'm listening to Laura with that beautiful story of your trips. And Travis, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on one thing you said today. I can't believe for 1 second that you quashed one single dream of his. Because Jesus, it sounds like he lived every single one of them every day of his life. No, I didn't. But, one of the happiest days was watching this wedding. It was the one wedding we were so excited to go to. And watching him just beam walking down the aisle and watching you just barely making it. Just so special. So, I'm going to try to get through this. So, please, excuse me. Oh, no, I'm good. But thank you. Anyway, I love him. I love him. I love him. And it's kind of ironic with all the wind going on. Is it the wind over my shoulder? Is it the wind that I hear gently whispering? Are you alone there in the valley? No, not alone, for you walk with me. Is it the wind there over my shoulder? Is it your voice calling quietly over the hilltop, down in the valley? Never alone, for you walk with me. When evening falls and the air gets colder, when shadows cover the road I am following, will I be alone there in the darkness? No, not alone, not alone, and I'll never be. Never alone, you're walking with me. Is it the wind there over my shoulders? Is it your voice calling quietly over the hilltop, down in the valley? Never alone, for you walk with me. Over the hilltop, down in the valley. Never alone, for you walk with me. Never alone, for you walk with me.
Now's the time, if anybody would like to come forward and speak. If you feel led to come up and say something about your experience with Joseph, we ask you to come now and speak for a few minutes. The podium's open for you. Okay, we're going to close. I'm going to close with a closing prayer. I want to thank first everyone for celebrating Joe with us and with Travis and the family. You know, I just have to add something. When I asked Joe to come to my ordination, I thought he was going to pass out. And I'm a pastor at Church of the Holy Spirit song that we believe everyone is loved by God and how we're all created. And he came with Travis. And he smiled and he was so happy for me, which led to more conversations. And that meant the world to me. So much that you all were there. And I know I didn't get to see you all when it was over. It was so overwhelming, but that meant the world. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time that we got to celebrate Joe together. The love that is within this room and under this canopy, Lord. How amazing that one individual could touch us all so deeply. That he made us feel as we were the only one. I ask for a blessing on everyone who's here and who is watching, Lord. Please comfort them in their sorrow, but remind them that they are not alone. Just because we come here today does not mean we can't have interactions later. It doesn't mean we can't reach out to each other. It doesn't mean we can't hug each other. I mean, well, COVID, but you know what I mean. And I would have to say, Father God, Joseph wouldn't want us not to spend time again together through a text, through a phone call, through Facebook. That's not what he was about. He was about togetherness and unity. And as it was said earlier, we can pick who our family is. And God, you picked all of us to be part of this family. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that. I pray for mercy travels on everyone. And when you're by yourself, if you go into sorrow, allow yourself to grieve, but always remember, Joe loved you more than he could ever tell you. Because sometimes he just couldn't, but he felt it. Amen. Amen.
All right, I just want to say thank you for coming. I prepared a little video as a farewell from Joe.
When tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not there to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes all filled with tears for me, I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we didn't get to say. I know how much you love me, as much as I love you, and each time that you think of me, I know you'll miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand and said my place was ready in heaven far above, and that I'd have to leave behind all those I dearly love. But as I turned to walk away, a tear fell from my eye. For all my life I'd always thought I didn't want to die. I had so much to live for, so much left yet to do. It seemed almost impossible that I was leaving you. I thought of all the yesterdays the good ones and the bad. I thought of all the love we shared and all the fun we had. If I could relive yesterday, just even for a while, I'd say goodbye and kiss you, and maybe see you smile. But then I fully realized that this could never be. For emptiness and memories would take the place of me. And when I thought of worldly things I might miss come tomorrow, I thought of you. When I did, my heart was filled with sorrow. And when I walked through heaven's gates, I felt so much at home. When God looked down and smiled at me from his great golden throne, he said, "This is eternity, and all I've promised you. Today, your life on earth is past, but here, life starts anew. I promise no tomorrow, but today will always last. And since each day is the same, there's no longing for the past. You have been so faithful, so trusting, and so true. Though there were times you did some things you knew you shouldn't do. But you have been forgiven, and now at last, you're free. So won't you come and take my hand and share my life with me?"
I know.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I can see them
Yeah, you should
I wanted to talk to all of you. Yeah.
The eyebrows.
He's fine. Now we're waiting on it. Yeah. Exactly. I didn't know, we didn't know that. Yeah, like, he told us, yeah, this is so this morning, I was tired.
The bridge is closed. They will follow the red sign. Just Google Maps it. But if you just follow that, it's like you would turn a towards you, and then you turn.
Remember air conditioning on the bench. I'm not like
Everybody says yes.
It's out there.
So I was not the best friend. I made that very clear. No, but when people made it very clear, I was never not the always one, never one. So I was not the best friend.
The world is better now. Oh.
Everyone else.
I will not be ignored from the moment they don't
I'm proud of them. Really. And I looked down. Did I think? I was like, I'm with my wife, you know, like when this whole important thing happened, like you saw me, see, I drove down. I thought I was good, so I was like, so, looking at the light, I'm like, all here. And I really love you guys so much. Yeah. We were all you know, I'm never on Facebook, and he'd be like, did you see his pictures? I'd be like, no. He would text them to me. So, I mean, he was so, like, I'm telling you, so. How long were you there for? Really? Oh my God. Yes, that is so him. He wants me to feel bad. But I'm gonna tell you what.
He gets saved.
I'll tell you, you know so even though when you give that back, number two is
We tried like 50 times to be free. So, yeah, I know it's tough. It's so, yeah. I know.
But I love,
yeah, I know. He's doing it. So yeah. I know, yeah. I know, I'm going.
Tower with the operation. Like, wow, good for you. And I was like, it's gonna be a year that I'm gonna start. It's not your blood, right? No. So when people are like, better than the vitamin shot, but not pure wine. Black Friday.
I know. But I left retail and I actually had shopping on Black Friday and everybody's like, that was my problem. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to be in a store. Yeah. I would want that picture. Yeah.
Where is
Janice, Cheryl. Oh, that's right.
Audrey. Come here.
No, we're gonna take a quick picture. I need
Do a couple
the Peter One family.
Just people.
Can we have it with Joe back? Yeah. Yeah. Over there.
Nobody here.
You know, Joe, we have, make sure I have it. Maybe like a photo of all of you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Joe would have taken that. Second, do this. Like this, Cheryl. You want me to go there? That wasn't a question. That wasn't a question. That's exactly right. I was like, you know, this is the hard part where I'd be like,
I need to take this mask off on me. Like I'm the phone call away.
I can't.
Not offensive. I was gonna wear pants. I heard you. I was gonna wear pants. And I'm like, no.
I thought I'm not gonna be able to do it, so.
I started put pants on. I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing it.
And a big school dress. Yeah. But then he looks so good.
Yeah.
It's hard when it's so good.
And then he striped the sunglasses on.
I know. It's all perfect. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's a full-time job. He doesn't get days off from being all that cute, you know? You're making her sick. You're making her